Okay, so essentially, you can make a claim for compensation if you've been injured in the last 3 years in an accident and someone else was to blame. So the first thing to do would be to contact a solicitor. My personal opinion is that it should be a local personal injury lawyer, someone that's familiar with the area and does have an interest in helping local clients. And that solicitor will be willing to have a free, no obligation chat with you, and they will go through the details of your accident, of your injuries, go through any evidence that you might have available at that time, and then give you their assessment as to whether or not they think you have a viable claim. And if so, then normally they should be willing to represent you on a no-win, no-fee basis. So if you don't know the details of the other driver who was at fault for your accident and the injuries you've suffered, a claim can potentially still be made. There's a variety of different inquiries we can make to try and ascertain the other driver's details, or at least the vehicle's details. And then either if they're uninsured or we simply can't trace them, a claim can be made to the Motor Insurers Bureau for compensation, which is a separate scheme which covers cases for untraced and uninsured drivers. Right, so there are two different aspects to this question. Firstly, a claim can be made on behalf of the estate of the deceased. That claim is fairly limited. Normally, it will include a claim for a statutory bereavement award, and then also any pain and suffering that was experienced by the deceased before they were killed, and then any other particular losses suffered by the deceased between the day of the accident and their death. And then secondly, a claim can be brought by the dependents. So depending on your relationship with the person who's been killed, if you were their spouse or their child and were financially dependent on them, then you can pursue a claim for damages to represent the loss of dependency. So the financial support you would have had from them, the care and services that you would have received from them throughout your life. So in summary, yes, you can make a claim, but there are lots of different factors that have to be considered. Okay, so most people do think that to make a claim for injury compensation following a road traffic accident, they'll need to go through their insurance company. Obviously, the first thing most people do when they've been injured in a car accident is to ring their insurance company. And then as a result of that, the insurance company will then often, very quickly and very smoothly, will pass them on to their own panel solicitors. And then before they know it, people are already kind of instructing lawyers that aren't local, often are quite far away, and that they won't have even thought about whether or not they should consult another lawyer or look to use anyone else. So, what I would say is that yes, you have to notify your insurer if you've been involved in an accident, but when it comes to actually making a claim for compensation for your injuries and your financial losses arising out of those injuries, I would always recommend consulting a local lawyer. We will be able to meet with you face to face. We will, I think, give you a better service than you would receive from a big firm in another part of the country. And we do, unfortunately, deal with inquiries from people that feel they haven't had the right service from panel firms. But unfortunately, once you are signed up with one of those panel firms, you can't normally then instruct us. So I would always say before going ahead with a panel firm that you should kind of take a moment, look around for some local lawyers and at least just give them a call and have a chat with them.